Hello, welcome everyone to the SDGs Lead, which is a series of conversation with prominent SDGs change makers worldwide. It's a great honor for me as a founder and initiator of the project Partnership for Advancing Innovative Sustainability to welcome today Jamilla Sealy from Barbados. It's a great honor. My name is Karina Radchenko. I am from Ukraine, and today we will have this youth-to-youth Barbados and Ukraine dialogue. Jamilla was awarded the Queen's Young Leader Award in 2017 for her amazing work to raise awareness about the importance of protecting the environment through the Caribbean Youth Environment Network, which has included community cleanups, teaching environmental science to young people in other directions. Jamilla is also Vice Chair of the Global Water Partnership Steering Committee. Jamilla, thank you so much once again for joining and this chance to learn from you in terms of your experience, vision, thoughts.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for welcoming me to and also inviting me to chat with you.
Jamilla, what we usually do in terms of our project is begin these interviews with learning about the pace of our participants, because it's very important to reveal this motivation also to other people who probably just at the very beginning of their path as sustainability trailblazers. As you have great experience, could you please think and tell us about the beginning, focal point of your path. How did it start that you became environmental advocate?
People always ask me that. So I grew up as a young girl in the rural areas of Barbados, and I was always just curious about how nature works. I spent a lot of my days outside and playing with the trees, like in trees, like climbing trees, picking fruit. And my family also had a small patch of garden. So we also grew some raw food, and we also kept some animals like pigs, chicken, cows, stuff like that. So I just always had an interest in learning a lot of facts about how things work in nature. And then when I learned science, it blew my mind. But yes, this is what I want to do. And then also geography. So just learning about the world was also great. So when I got into when I was in secondary school, when I was about 16, I chose to do environmental science, biology, and geography as my main focus. And for my bachelor's degree, I decided environmental management. Like, I didn't know where it would go from there, but I just knew that I had to do it. That was the only thing I wanted to do, to learn environmental management. Then when I got back, because I studied overseas, so when I got back to my home, there were no jobs available. So the first thing I happened on to was teaching. So I taught geography for like a year, and I loved it. So that's where I guess the youth advocacy came in, where I just zoomed in on it. Where I learned so I learned how to break down like big topics and share my knowledge. So I taught them about what I knew and what I have learned over the years, and I just thought it was really an amazing thing to do. I love teaching. Then I did my master's degree. I mainly did it because I wanted to make myself more marketable. But in the middle of that, I learned so much. My master's was again natural resources management, but it focused on climate change, and that was in 2012.
Was
nearly 10 years ago.
was it focused on the nature, climate change in your country or other scope?
It was
And
not
your
only in my
master's
country.
thesis?
No, it was overall. So I did there was like climate science, we learned environmental, economic. It was a whole like host of stuff in terms of management, government, but I really liked the topic of climate change. It wasn't very popular then, I would say, in my country, but that's just my story where I started. And I also joined the Caribbean Youth Environment Network in 2013. So that's where I learned that my scope could be bigger. So I was able to hear, I guess, about the Caribbean experience, the environment, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of my background story.
Wow, it's just amazing how your personal childhood passion of living within this wonderful nature of Caribbean, and I hope we will then return to this question about telling the world what your country overall this nature is associated for you, and probably you will be able to show some pictures of videos, because for me it's like paradise, absolutely like a wonderful place on our earth. And it's great how it turned from your childhood devotion into a profession as you are qualified with your master's degree. Just great how people, and you in particular, start to turn their passion into a profession. It's very, very inspiring. Could you please also tell about the current activities, probably of the Caribbean Youth Environment Network or Global Water Partnership? I know that you are also very active in terms of some cooperation with the Ministry of Environment and National Beautification in Barbados and some other projects. Just in terms of more details.
Okay, so currently I work with the Ministry of Environment. I am an assistant project coordinator, and this is my third year working there. I'm in the biodiversity and conservation section. So what we do is we focus on the different multilateral environmental agreements, like the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Convention on to combat desertification and drought. We have the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, and there are a number of other things. So Barbados having signed on to these agreements, we have different obligations. That's what my section helps do. So we do a lot of the reports that are needed. We help with workshops, uh, training, and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's what I do in the ministry. I guess there are many more things, but there's so many MEAs that we work with the Global Water Partnership. So I'm on the steering committee. So what the steering committee does is it's basically like the board of the organization. So we have meetings every quarter. We make some decisions about the programming and what goes on Global Water Partnership. So that's basically what that is. And the Caribbean Youth Environment Network, I would say I haven't been as active as I would like since about 2 years ago I became ill. So it's been kind of like a chronic illness. I have sickle cell disease, and just 2 years ago I decided to turn to like a chronic pain. So every day I'm in pain. So I can't be as active on the ground as I would like to be, but I do make myself available for things like this. A lot of presentations and talks and being like a featured speaker or stuff like that. So that's what I have been doing. I also share information or just try to be present as much as possible, but I wish I could do more physical activity, but at this moment I can't.
Wow, it's so great, so diverse experience and directions. You are the first ever young person involved in the steering committee, aren't you?
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
feel about this overall, and how to make this youth voice heard?
Yeah. So like being the first of anything is pretty scary. It feels like I have a huge weight on my shoulders to make sure that I make a good impression for other youth to follow, to make sure that that youth succeeds. So I try to be as present as possible, read out a document before the meeting, and I also have to make presentations that I'm being asked to do that. So that's what I do. But it was scary. I didn't know that that I was actually gonna get it, like first in the world. uh, when I applied, it took me many months, and then I became shortlisted. Out of like there were only 5 of us, and I was like, wow, me. Yeah, I was very surprised that but I mean, I do have the experience, but just it's just like a surreal moment, like thinking that me, like I'm just a young person from a very small island, Barbados, in the Caribbean. Like, you can't even see us on a map without zooming in. So I'm very happy to be chosen, and I do my best as the vice chair. Just recently, I had to um, pick up a role to represent the chair because he wasn't available. Actually, that's yesterday. Yesterday. So it's a really good experience. But I mean, with COVID, I wish that we could meet in person, like the committee, since it's only been a year, or like just over a year. And I wish we could meet in person, but COVID has really stopped that. So it had to be online.
Do you have some piece of advice for young people in order how to believe in yourself, in oneself, and to be confident to address the change makers of different levels, regardless of ages? This like, sometimes when young person comes into something bigger, there is a kind of I would say non-confidence, some kind of biases, stereotypes associated with some lack of experience. So even if this young person is very, very experienced. So how to
Yeah.
behave in this connection? And do you have some particular probably recommendation also, not only for young people in general, but for girls, like to start raising their voice?
Well, so that is there's so many ways I could answer that question. But I would say that I have struggled with my confidence. Even like as I said just now, I didn't think that I was able to become the first youth on the committee, but I did it. So why do what I have done in the past is I mentioned that I took opportunities, even though I was scared. And there were opportunities that came by, like I just take them, apply, and then many like conferences and stuff. Like when I was starting out as a youth advocate, and I always thought to myself, oh, maybe I'm not as good as the others. Maybe I shouldn't apply to this because I may not get it. But the thing that you should do is put yourself out there. To be honest, I'm a really shy person, and I would prefer not to be the one, the face of things, or to be in charge or anything like that. But in order to be a youth advocate, you have to speak. You have to put yourself out there. Um, so what advice I would give, because I was very shy and stuff. I hated public speaking. Like I wouldn't have done this a couple of years ago. I wouldn't have done this meeting. But what I did is that I tried to improve my public speaking. So I joined the Toastmasters organization, and I really learned how to present myself. Uh, but And then more advice I will give is to have knowledge on the topic. So if you're applying for something, or if you're going into a room with decision makers, you can't go there empty-handed, or they will think, because they already think that you don't know anything. So what you have to do is make sure that you prove them wrong. Make sure that you have all the knowledge on the topic as much as possible, because then they will be like, "Oh, I didn't know that these young people know anything." I've had people telling me, "Oh, you look like I can just see the milk on your mouth, like that you just came from, that you were just born, or you just came from your mother," stuff like that. I've been told a lot of stuff. Then especially being a young woman, it is hard out there, but I would say things are getting better. I would say in my experience. I know it might not be better in some other places, but like in my country, we have a female prime minister. We have our newest female president. So it's not as difficult, I would say, in my country to be a female in charge of something. But yeah, so just to recap, make sure that you know the information, and if you never try, you will always lose. And failure is fine. I struggle with that. I don't like to fail at all, but when you fail, it makes you stronger. So it's okay to fail, and don't be too hard on yourself. That's my advice.
So you're just really breaking the ice ceiling. If you just can imagine, like comparing the situation overall in your country or in the world 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, not surely that we remember everything, but overall of this paradigm of women leadership. Could you ever imagine in your childhood that so many women would be present? Do you see as kind of very fast improvement, like positive trend?
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I wish that in 2021 we wouldn't be having the first female anything, but I see things are changing. Women, I'm not sure, but I guess women are being respected more, or they're making space for women to take up roles and making sure that we have like a gender balance and stuff like that. It doesn't in certain fields, but it could be better. Yeah. When I was small, when I was young, I never thought I would be where I am today. I really never thought that I would be known internationally. I've been here for the Ukraine. I really never thought that people will be coming to me to ask me anything about being a leader and stuff like that. To be honest, I never really wanted to be a leader, but I think that people kept putting me in leadership positions, and I just did it. So I have no idea. I just really never thought that I would be a leader. I like to do a lot of the background work. So I kind of would prefer to be in the background. I would do all the stuff, but I never really wanted to be out front. But to be an advocate and all that, you need to push yourself. So this is me pushing myself to be out there. Yeah.
But you wanted to make a change with so much love and passion, as you told. And I think here are the key qualities of the leader. When he or she doesn't want to be leader as leader, but rather to make this change with lots of love. And your contribution has been recognized by the Queen Elizabeth in 2017, where you received this award in England and overall this ceremony. Do you remember that day? But first, probably I will ask, do you remember that moment when you got information that you was selected
Oh, yeah.
Queen's Award?
Well, it's etched in my mind. I would never forget it. I remember being at my office. I was at the Caribbean, at the CYEN office, and I just received a call, I think on Zoom, and then they told me, you know, like, congratulations, you've won the award. And I was like, wow. But then they asked me, so will you be home? Asked me if I would be home for Independence Day. And I said, no, I'm heading to Cancun to go to the biodiversity conference. They had like a youth conference first. I was so excited to go. And then they were like, well, Prince Harry wants to meet you. So we would like that you stay here. I was like, what? I really wanted to go to the conference, but then he wanted to meet me, so I said, okay. So they actually changed my plane ticket so that I would stay in Barbados. And then I just remember it was because I am very shy. So when I met him, it was just a crazy, crazy day. I just felt like I was on autopilot. Like there was a lot of like filming, like lots of cameras in my face, and then I had to do like social media stuff. So they will put like a phone in my face and ask me questions. So what do you feel about this? What do you feel about that? I was like, it was really crazy. And then so I thought that we were gonna meet in a room, like privately, which was fine with me. I was okay with that. But then I heard later in the day that I had to be presented on stage. And we had our 50th anniversary of independence, and it was a huge concert. So then Prince Harry brought me out on stage. This was crazy. I was very scared. All I was saying to myself was, don't trip over these wires on the stage and embarrass yourself. And it was an experience. But he was very, very nice, very down to earth, which I didn't expect. And he knew a lot about environment, and he was very nice. And then so that was 5 years ago, actually. So this is now, so it was 30th of November, 5 years ago. And like right after the concert, I went straight to Mexico. So I was very, very tired. Oh, and then there was, I don't know if you know about Rihanna.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I actually went to school with her. Yeah, we went to the same school, same age and everything. And she was there. And she told me that she was very proud of me. And I told her, I'm very proud of you. And then just recently, she's been made a national hero of Barbados.
Yes, just several days ago on the 16th of November.
Yeah, so it's very crazy.
Prince Charles coming with Rihanna, all this. I watched this even.
Wow.
How do you feel about this? I mean, were you participating in these events as well?
Yeah, well, I didn't get to participate in the event, but I watched it, and see someone that I went to school with who is my age and is alive being recognized as a national hero, that was amazing.
And Rihanna has attended the same school in Barbados, yes?
Yes.
For how long she has been living in Barbados? Approximately, like her school years she spent there.
Yeah, so I think she left at 16. So she spent about maybe 5 or 6 years at school. Yeah.
Wonderful. Like, so also so great, this kind of role models. And your meeting with Prince Harry was also very friendly, yes, emotionally full.
Yeah.
Open. He's very open, isn't he? It was seemed like on the pictures which I saw during this day's event, it was no formality, but rather conversations, very friendly.
So I remember I was told to shake his hand and say, Your Royal Highness. But when I got there, I went to shake his hand, he hugged me instead. And then also, when I went to England like 6 months later, when I was getting the award from the Queen, I remember he was there. and he waved at me when I was getting the award, and then he remembered me. I didn't think that he would remember me, but I think from all that experience, he actually chose me to do a couple things, a couple promotions and stuff like that with him. So I think he interviewed me on BBC at the same award ceremony, and then later in like Christmas time, he asked me to do a radio show with him.
Oh, great. Was it online or in London?
No, at home. I did it at home. I recorded it at home, and but then there were only two young people, and he chose me as one of them. So again,
Amazing.
I just think of myself.
You truly deserve it, keeping in mind all your previous work. So it's a very long, I would say, past input, efforts before this. And it's so great.
Yeah.
Is it available online, this interview, to watch?
Yeah,
This show.
Yes, it was. I would say also that when I got to London and I met the other young leaders, it was amazing to meet them because of all the amazing stuff that they were doing. I remember there was a 19-year-old girl, and she had her own organization for dementia, and I was 28 at the time, and I was like, wow, you have your own organization. What was I doing at 19?
How many people in general were awarded during your year?
Approximately. There were 50 each time. And then they also had runners up. And the ones that won the award, we got to go to England. We got to continue our course at the University of Cambridge. So we all did a course at the University of Cambridge about leadership. And then we got this award. It is like a silver coin. And we all got to speak to the Queen. So that was cool. We just spoke for maybe 20 seconds.
And what had you said to the Queen, or Queen said to you? I usually I can say usually because I had made several interviews with also Queen leaders, and this is like a very like already traditional questions.
Yeah. So I can't remember what she said to me, but I remember telling her that from the experience that I gained, I plan to create a sickle cell organization here in Barbados with a support network. And she was like, wow, that's so good. I think that was it. But yeah, it was a good experience being there. I got to go to the BBC, Facebook, Instagram. I was like, I actually went to BBC. I've heard of BBC all my life. I've listened to BBC, watched BBC program, and then to be in the building. And then to be in London for the first time. And I was able to, I'm a Harry Potter fan. So to see where the train station was, and I went to the Gringotts Bank. Like we had dinner where the Gringotts Bank was filmed. And I was like, wow. It was so cool. It was really cool to be there and to be treated so well. And it was a really good experience. And it proved to me that I can do it. That I am valuable.
Amazing, like it's such a great level, and overall this I would say kind of award is also provided with motivation to grow further. Yes, how did you feel like post follow up of this award overall? Are you still in touch with some organizations from London in terms of contacts, cooperation?
Yeah, we're all in a WhatsApp group. We're all in different WhatsApp groups, the Caribbean and stuff like that. We're all members of the Royal Commonwealth Society. yeah, we do keep in touch. I have made some friends from there, especially people that did the same kind of like environmental work. Some who did sickle cell work. Those are who I am really in touch with. Um, and yeah, I did make a few friends from there, and we try to work together as much as possible. And if I go to a different country, I can just call. If I go to their country, I can call and say, I'm in your country, can we meet up? And it's fun. Um, and then I do still keep in touch with, I guess, some of the organizers as well. So it's a good experience. And I would say from there, from that award, I was, I guess I don't know the words right now, but it made people want to talk to me more about environment. And like in terms of Barbados, people spoke to me about like the media. They would ask for my opinion about environmental issues, which did not happen before.
Yeah, to gain
Before,
visibility.
before environment wasn't a topic that people really spoke about often. But I think in these last couple of years, environment and climate change have kind of gotten into the household. So it's kind of made like a household name. And our leaders are talking about environment more often. So I'm very happy about that.
Are you the first one from Barbados getting this award? Was there your previous years leaders as well?
Yeah, I think there were 4 years, and every year Barbadians got an award. But mainly for like social issues. Yeah, so just having
from different, scope of work. Yeah. Are you in touch with those leaders as well?
Pardon?
Are you in touch with those leaders as well from Barbados?
Yeah, a few of them. A few.
Great. Yeah. Wow, it's just so great honor to talk with you and overall to get inspired and motivated. I hope you will keep up going further and further, because it's very important that this environmental perspectives, your individual devotion is now heard worldwide. So people from other countries can also get inspired. What do you see as you started talking about motivation, like the wonderful nature of overall surrounding you. If you would describe in Barbados to someone like an alien from some other universe or planet, what would you say? I mean, in several sentences describing your motherland to reveal this inspiration, because throughout our project we try to do like this world-to-world discovery, because currently we are sitting miles away, so big distance, but at the same time we communicate, we discover, and people from other places would also watch us.
Yeah, but I would say Barbados is a pretty flat country. It's mainly green, especially in the rural parts, which are on the east side. We have very few rivers, and I would say that from over time of our history of colonialism and plantation culture, it has removed most of our natural beauty. But one thing that I really love are the beaches. I love the beach. I love that when I'm driving, I can see the beach all the time. I see one coastline, like something. I need to see the coast. Yeah, we have nice white sand beaches, clear waters, blue waters. I'll see if I could show over there. That is just by our boardwalk, and some of the beach, a little bit of the beach there.
It's amazing. How much degrees today? I mean, very hot.
It has to be about maybe 31 degrees Celsius right now. I can feel it. I can feel it, but yeah, I prefer the hot. I prefer the heat than the cold.
I wish once Zoom could invent this opportunity to move
Yeah,
directly. Now in my country, Ukraine, it's quite cold, not so much about 7+ degrees, but
wow.
quite cold. We're expecting
Yeah,
snow, though in some parts of other parts of Ukraine there is snowing, like so
I,
beautiful.
I would love to see snow. I mean,
I,
wait, one day. I think in Germany once I saw it snowed for like 5 minutes and then it stopped.
in
But
Germany.
I've never, yeah, when I was there for the climate change conference in 2017, and it was in November, it snowed just a little bit. And I haven't seen like a snow covered place before. Maybe one day when I travel, once COVID is not as rampant and I travel again, I want to see snow.
You're very much welcome to Ukraine, and overall, I would be happy to see you here or meet somewhere because it's like a very much a global village sometimes, but people meet, and it would be really, really great. What is the role of natural solutions in Barbados, like Calabash in the video you have shared?
Okay. There, I would like to say there are, okay, I think I will start this way. I believe that nature-based solutions are key to our sustainability. I wouldn't say that we're doing a lot of that. I wish that we were, but that we need to use stuff that we were doing back in the past. But in recent times, our last maybe 20 years, we've been using a lot of plastic, a lot of um, yeah, a lot of plastic, a lot of small containers. Like when I was young in the 90s, we didn't have plastic bags as yet. I remember having like glass bottles for drinks, like sodas. We didn't have plastic bottles as yet. I remember drinking out of glass bottles mainly, and but now we had and then using the paper bag at supermarket. But then it just changed to plastic. I thought plastic was a really good idea. I was like, no, we can have a drink and we can use it and cover it and then use it again. Um, but eventually I saw that people were just throwing them away because of it's convenient to just use and throw it. I remember doing my first beach cleanup, and I was about 15, and I was very surprised with how many things were on the beach, how much garbage people just threw, just even though they were garbage cans. But I guess one thing that we have really changed over the years was um, changing from plastic, from petroleum-based plastic to plant-based plastic. That's all of our bags and food containers, food utensils, stuff like that has been changed. But people are still littering, so I don't think the problem has been solved. But I think people still need to. I think once we all work together, but if there are still some people doing the wrong thing, or if the majority of them are still doing the wrong thing, then it's a problem. I remember since COVID, I've been on beaches and I'm seeing like masks just thrown on the ground. So
Yeah.
that is not a good thing, especially those disposable masks. They're just like flying everywhere. They are like the cloth masks. Like I have one with me that I just washed and reused, but a lot of people just use the disposable one. But much more could be done. It could be better. As an environmentalist, like I wish that more nature-based solutions were being used. So I think that is all that I have seen so far.
Absolutely. Like, it's just amazing how many tons of these masks are produced. And then if we do not change these mindsets, because it's humans who can leave it on the beach or somewhere else, like without recycling and so on. Until we do so, it will be, like I would say, great catastrophe, because all these
Yeah,
bottles, all these masks will be into oceans, and overall, it's
yeah,
very, very
definitely.
important.
Yeah, I'm disappointed by things not being done, but I think that we will get there in time. But I hope it's not too late, because as about like most of us do, we wait until something happens for us to make some kind of change,
Are there some
especially here.
special, absolutely, are there some spaces like school hubs, like to teach pupils, as you also work with youth?
Yes, yes. My some teachers or some schools they do teach stuff like that, teach the recycling and like my mother, she is a nursery school teacher, and they teach 3 to 4 year olds about this stuff, and I help as well. I make sure and I give her some information on things that they can do about they know about pollution, they know about reusing and recycling and stuff like that. So, and they also do gardening. They plant food at their school and all that. So
Wow.
I'm really happy that 3 to 4 year olds know this, and then they can take that with them as they grow older, and they can also tell their parents that is not right. Like littering is not right and stuff like that, and they will tell their parents.
It's amazing. Like, you are focusing on this group of 3, 4 year old students and your mother. It's really great, because sometimes this environmental education in some countries, if it starts, it's much later. And it's very important to focus from the kindergarten. Just very, very great initiative. So one day this generation of 3, 4 year old people who are currently in this age, after years when they growing up, they will further distribute this knowledge, especially when we speak about living in such a beautiful nature. And overall, everywhere nature is beautiful. It has some special symbols, and we are part of this. What are your sources of motivation? Are there like some books, videos, or
Oh,
overall some ideas to get inspired?
I think it's just thinking of the changes that can be done, even if it may seem like it's not working. It just like I think that one person can do it. Once one person starts, and then you can get someone else to join you and someone else to join you, then that works. In terms of books or motivation, there was one. What was it called? The power of I can't remember the rest of the title, but basically taught it had like motivational words and stuff like that to show you that even as like one person you can do it. I can share it with you after, but right now I cannot remember it at
Oh, it
all.
will be great. I will also
Yeah,
read it, because
yeah,
this
yeah,
philosophy of 1% change in the world is very
yeah.
comprehensive, because if everyone changes the world, this synergy will arise. Thank you so much many times, Jamila, for your
Yeah.
participation, for this talk. And last but not the least is your message to the world leaders. You probably did this many times, but to inspire others, to reveal your devotion, and to reveal this energy of moving further regardless all the odds, and tackling these stereotypes. youth associated, gender associated, and overall environmental associated stereotypes in our world.
So for the world leaders especially, I would like that they create some kind of enabling environment to include youth, especially in decision-making processes. I would like that they encourage young people to be part of it, and not just as I'm going to have a young person and tick a box and say, yes, we have a young person, but not actually including them properly. So what I need for governments to do, or world leaders in general, is to make sure that youth are included and in the right way. Because I have seen people try to include young people, but they don't teach them anything. They just have them for the pictures, just to say that we had a young person here. I do not like that. I've had that before. So we don't want that. And I want young people to, again, educate yourself, pass on your knowledge to others, and make sure that you know that one person definitely can make a difference. Something you say might stick with someone, and you can go from there. Keep pushing as much as possible. Just because you might not be heard or think that you're heard, trust me, someone has heard you.
Wonderful message, and I hope it will be heard, because I support all these words. Just amazing. Not formally include young people, but try to really provide them opportunities to impact and to share their thoughts, ideas, and to hear, not just listen to, because in many cases young people are just listened to, but really hear and give this space for cooperation and taken seriously. Thank you so much, Jamilla, once again. Keep up going. I will follow your wonderful work and hope to keep in touch and to cooperate in some points further, because we have also participants focusing on the ocean, on protection of environment, cleanups, and if we will be keeping in touch together, there are more chances that in our communities and overall worldwide, we will reach our goal of more sustainable world. Thank you so much.
Wait, I forgot. There was one last thing. I guess like people like me who are like older youth advocates. I want the older youth advocates like myself to like reach back and help the younger youth advocates, because we don't want them to go through what we have gone through. So make sure to teach them the way. Like that is why I wrote it down to say, but I forgot. So
it's very important point, like to preserve this consequency of dialogue, of further knowledge, so young people wouldn't be having to invent their own bicycles, but take these recipes and then implement them further. Thank you so much once again. You're great, amazingly inspiring, and just keep up going.
Thank you. You as well.